So here lately we've been doing videos about the different breeds of chickens that we love. To be honest with you, I got one that we could talk about that we don't love, but today we're going to talk about one that's especially dear to our hearts. What do you think, Toti? Huh? Always got to be a Toti shot because she comes straight to the camera. And today it actually is about the New Hampshires, or New Hampshire Red. Technical breed name is New Hampshire, but most places will say New Hampshire Red. And as you can see, they are very personable. Come straight to the camera, don't you, Toti? That's just it's just how the breeds are. Oh, Sweetness. Now this is Sweetness. She's 9 years old, 9.5 at this point, and she's our oldest girl and has been the most special to Angela Kay throughout time. How's Sweetness? This one's Toti, and she's 5.5 years old and is very talkative and loves the camera. Sweetness and Toti are great examples of the New Hampshire breed, or New Hampshire Red, whatever you want to call it. Sweetness comes from McMurray Hatchery. We bought her again 9.5 years ago at this point, so it was like May of 2015 when she was hatched, and she's a prime example of why we love them, okay? But so is Toti in their own ways. So Toti is 5.5 years old, came from My Pet Chicken. My Pet Chicken has a wonderful line of New Hampshires. McMurray has wonderful New Hampshires as well, but they're going to be different. That's one thing you will notice, in my opinion, is that there are very distinct lines of New Hampshires, breeding lines of New Hampshires across every hatchery that are all different. You get a different result with similar results from each of the ones. And in fact, like Cackle Hatchery, somewhere we've never bought before, but it said they have even a different line of New Hampshires that comes from a line, I think it's called the Newcomer line, that's bred off of another different line, maybe like a German strain. And even they're going to be a little different. And then also you're going to have New Hampshires, some that lay a pink egg. It's actually a brown egg, but the bloom on the outside makes it look pink. And then some that lay a cream colored egg. Typically the pink eggs are extra large to jumbo, and the cream colored are going to be a large medium to a large we'll say. So you can get very different results, but also very consistent results. So the difference is going to be like the eggs, and sometimes they look a little different. But their personality, their hardiness, their good chicken sense, their friendliness, it's all the same. Maybe except for one. Tilly is the one exception to this. Tilly likes me a lot. She tends to love Angela, but she's not quite the same as this one. Same age. Tilly come from My Pet Chicken 5.5 years ago as well as Toti. These two embody the differences I'm talking about. Toti is a fantastic layer, like beyond belief layer, okay, of the cream colored eggs that are just about large, pretty much. And Tilly is a really good layer of the extra large pink eggs that I was telling you about. And Sweetness is just great. And Sweetness, by the way, lays the extra large pink eggs as well. At least she did. And Toti is pecking at the camera now. Hey, Gracie. Isn't that right, Toti? Yep. And you can see those differences. Now, typically I call Angela the New Hamp Whisperer because every New Hampshire loves Angela Kay, and why not? She's easy to love, and she loves chickens. But now Tilly, like I said, on the other hand, has typically been more towards me. Now she's gotten older, she loves Angela too, but like that's the only one. She's the only one that's a little different. Typically she likes me more than Angela, but she loves Angela as well. But like they truly embody the differences that you'll find consistently over the hatchery lines. Like I said, cream colored layer but lays more eggs, pink egg layers but lay bigger eggs. And now the other 9-year-old New Hampshire we had who's dead now laid the cream color eggs, and probably a little more often, but they were smaller. Now we do have 2 other New Hampshires, okay, and I want
I mean, they're younger chickens. They're a year and a half at this point. And these I do want to talk about separately than those three.
Got this one. This is Jane, and she come from McMurray a year and a half ago. All right, Jane. And Tootie's pecking the camera again. And we have Judy, who is high strung, and she's the least personable of any new hemp we've ever had. And she's still molting, so she's doesn't look exactly right, but she's certainly the least personable of the ones we've had. All right, Judy.
Now, Judy and Jane came from McMurray again a year and a half ago, and they are what I believe to be an example of McMurray trying to get a more consistently bred New Hampshire, okay, and trying to make sure their line is more consistent, because our 9-year-olds couldn't have been more different. Sweetness was a much bigger chicken than the other 9-year-old New Hampshire we had, and she's much hardier as well. So they were starkly different chickens from each other. And Tilly and Toti are fairly different from each other as well, but they came from my pet chickens, so they don't really necessarily go along with this. Now, Judy and Jane are closer to each other, closer to being more consistent to each other, and in look and in egg laying ability. Now, Judy, however, was the one who laid over 100 straight days this year. So Judy laid over 100 straight days without stopping. Like, I think it's like 107. Then she had another run of like 30. So she's actually been the best egg layer we've ever had. Her eggs, however, never got to be much more than a large, and even they weren't consistently a large. So we'll see how they do after molt, okay? However, their egg colors look a little closer to each other. Their sizing with each other has been pretty similar. Now, a lot of times New Hampshires don't fully get their size after their first molt, which is what they're doing right now. Judy and Jane are both entering their first molt. Jane's pretty much over it. Judy still has some to go, but so that's where the jury's still out on those to understand what they are. We love them, by the way, but to see what they fully become is to be determined. Like Toti is a nice sized girl right now, longer, taller, broad, fully feathered after her molt. When in her first year or two, she was kind of lightweight. She was laying so many eggs and she couldn't really get her weight together. Now, she will lose weight as she lays eggs in the spring and summer from where she is now, but she's certainly more fully developed than she was a few years ago. We'd like to throw in that we had New Hampshires bought from My Pet Chicken 7 years ago as well. Okay, one died on the way here, or after they got here, but that was mishandling from the post office. Wasn't My Pet Chicken's fault. And then one was another fantastic layer, like ridiculously great layer, who may have died from yolk stroke, from what we believe. She was a couple years old when she died. Just randomly died. I actually laid an egg the day she died, and just randomly stroked out. I think she's just dead. She laid an egg and then was dead like an hour or two later. So that was a little different, but she was an amazing chicken as well. Super friendly and just an incredible layer. She, however, could have kind of broke the mold too on egg size for color. She laid the cream color eggs, but they were a little bigger, and she actually may have laid also our biggest egg we've ever had, which was it may have been close to 4 ounces. Honestly, I'm not sure we had an accurate scale at the time, but it may have been close to 4 ounces. And she also laid that egg that was day 31 of a 31 straight day cycle. So she laid 30 eggs 30 straight days, and then laid that egg on the 31st day. Now, I say all that to say this, that no matter where you get them from, honestly, we adore New Hampshires. They've been wonderful. They're just a fantastic chicken to have. They don't have issues with anybody. They're not hateful. Tilly's a little hateful here and there. Okay, just a little bit, but they're personable. They get along well with humans and other chickens. They lay great. They handle the heat. They handle the cold. They're fantastic hole diggers. They'll scratch the dickens out of everything. Right, in your yard they'll scratch it up. In your run they'll scratch it up. You just let them get started. They will scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch and dig and scratch. Wonderful. They're a fantastic chicken to have in any setting. I don't care if backyard, farm, doesn't matter. Highly underrated. Maybe the most underrated like American heritage breed there is, to be honest with you. They're amazing. You can't talk enough about them, or can't be positive enough about them. No bad experiences with them ever, and honestly, that's the reason we have them over and over and over and over again. And like you said, Sweetness there is 9.5 years old. She did lay eggs this past year. Not near as many as she has in the past, but she did lay eggs for a few months this year. Okay, as a 9-year-old hen. So that's something to be said as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason, Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you. Goodbye.